This is a gyp stack. It's 8 miles from my house, and it's getting bigger every day. Supposedly, this is where another county is dumping their radioactive waste products because that county won't let them dump it where they live. So the city of Bartow, our county seat, I guess has decided to allow Mosaic Phosphate Company to dump their poison there. Across the street from that one on Highway 60 is another one on the old property of W.R. Grace IMC, which is now Mosaic, and they're making larger gyp stacks. Every day this gets bigger and bigger. This has only been here a few months. It's 8 miles from my house, and this is where I grew up. But right there where those trains are used to be radioactive waste product. It looked like white sand that was dumped there. When I was a kid 40 years ago, I used to ride my dirt bike over there. I didn't know it was toxic. Where these trees are, this cow pasture is also, well, they just sold it off recently a few years back, but it was Mosaic property as well. The Agrico mine, Pierce, used to be there. My grandfather used to was an engineer for CSX. On those tracks down there, the train used to ride by our house, which is right there. The train used to ride by our house every day. Still does. Just they don't have the mine there. One day they just decided to blow it up and get rid of it. I don't know why. That was back in the 90s. And about a quarter mile that way is a dumping ground. It's a scrapyard for metals. It's called Scrappy Thomas. They have been dumping radioactive materials from the mines there for years. They've got rocks there that actually glow neon green. Nobody ever asked to dump stuff there. Nobody ever told anybody about the air that's being poisoned by the radioactivity. And let's see. Let's take a walk over here. I am 3.7 miles from the sinkhole. And my water's been contaminated. They say it hasn't, but it has been. I've got clumps in my water, white. I've got gray sediment in my water. I've got black rock sometimes. Sometimes I have orange, reddish brown water. Sometimes my water stinks. Sometimes it doesn't. But anyways, this used to be where the Pierce mine was. And you can see the gyp stack over there. And like I said, that's 8 miles away. Now, where I live, this up here is a hill actually built on a gyp stack. My grandfather was, like I said, a train engineer for the mines. He actually died of lung cancer. He was at Cornet Mine, Agrico, Kingsford, Christina. There's probably not a mine that he didn't go through because they used to take the phosphate to different places and dump it. Now, you see this place where my kids are? Right down there where that clump of trees is a pit on the other side. We call it a pit. It was actually where they used to dump the the wastewater, put it that way, full of phosphorus, lead, iron, aluminum, everything. My water supposedly has come up clean, but each house up here, there's 23 houses up here, and each one has a different depth well. My house was actually moved up here from the Brewster mine when it was closed down. Back when IMC and other mining companies used to mine, which it still happens today, they used to go into towns, hire people, furnish jobs, pay really good money, and when they paid the good money, everybody wanted to work there. They were loyal, etc., etc., etc. Their sons worked there, their daddies worked there, everybody worked there. Everybody was waiting in line to get a job, and when they did get a job, they kept their mouths shut. But actually what happened was is they moved this group of houses up here when Brewster Mine closed down, when it got all used up in 1957, 56. Our well is 200 feet deep. Our well, they said, is only 6.9 on the radiation scale, way above the health regulated level, which is 0. This neighbor here has a different level. Not every house up here came up with orange water at the same time, but I know of 4 houses that did. We all came up with orange brownish water 3 weeks before the sinkhole was actually announced, and each one of us have different depths in our well. Most of these houses up here aren't on the aren't on the Swift Mud well water records because yes, baby, you can, because in 1957 they didn't keep very accurate records of the wells that were dug. Swift Mud only has on file since 1989. That's the records where the record started for this area, as far as wells go. 1989 only had 6 wells listed as even existing in this area. There are thousands. There's 23 wells just in this area alone, or this hill right here where I live alone. Now, back that way, 2 miles across the trees over there is a little town called Pierce. That's where it used to be a booming town. No puppies. Yet another town where they actually were hiring people to dig up the ground, etc., and ruin my earth and destroy our ecosystem. And the town of Pierce was shut down. There's old timers there, all loyal employees of Mosaic or IMC. Bradley Junction is 3 miles that way. Their water was actually all well water at one point, just like Pierce. And one day IMC comes in and says, hey, nobody can have wells here anymore, you're all going on city water. And now everybody goes on city water, which comes from a tank that has a well that goes into the ground, into the aquifer where Mosaic is dumped. A couple of miles over that way is a little community called Pinedale. They also had orange-brown water come up at the same time we did, and that's pretty much it. So you can get the basic idea of what's going on here, that Mosaic's covered up, that the miners have covered up. My grandfather has died of cancer. My grandmother had cervix cancer. I possibly have cancer cervix. My mother had breast cancer. My sister's dad died of lung cancer. I've had a cyst on my uterus and cervix since I was 19. And those little dolls up there, one of them stood in a tub of orange-brown water 3 weeks before the sinkhole was announced and said, Mama Lou, look what happened to my water. I feel like Mosaic has ignored what's going on. I think they put it under the rug too long, too fast, and they did that for a reason. But this is an older community, and we need the help of the youth and anybody else who isn't directly connected to this area, as well as those who are connected to this area and have kids who grow up here. My family's been here for 60 years and we have lost everything. It's not much, but it's my home. It's where I grew up, my mother grew up, my children grew up, and their children. And we don't have that anymore. We can't even drink our water. My hair's falling out, for crying out loud. And I'm making this video in hopes that somebody will see it and somebody can help. If not just one person, then all of you. Thank you.